Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wingcat Sports in our new studio that I spent over the weekend building. We are going back into Wings as it's been the only thing I've been consistent with because I've yet to talk about the Tiger stuff or anything else going on with football or anything. But Wings, they're keeping up with themselves. They keep on winning. They took 2 or 3 this week, which I said is something they had to do. Personally, I would have liked them to beat Boston and the Senators and lose to the Sharks, if anything, but they beat the Sharks 4-2, beat the Senators 4-3, and ended up losing to the Bruins 3-0. They're keeping on pace in the East. They're still a top team in the East. It's a very, very close uh, Eastern Conference. Even in our division, the worst team in Ottawa is 22-19-7 with 51 points compared to our 30-16-4 and 64 points. So it's kind of just trying to figure ourselves out and keep on pushing because by the time we hit the Olympic break, you want to try and be atop of the whole entire Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I really don't think you could ask for much more from the Wings. I mean, the Boston game, they were coming off a very tough win. They were tired. You could tell they still were giving it everything they could. They just couldn't put the puck in the net. But Gibson has stayed, and Talbot have stayed a pretty good tandem. Gibson's been awesome. He was awesome again last night. Can't fault him for any of the goals. It was, like I said, Ottawa's not a great team, but and maybe you should handle them a little easier, but who cares? We win the game, 2 points. That's what we need.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't have gone to overtime, but
I
you
mean,
probably
people
shouldn't.
are going to have drops, and Ottawa's at a point now.
They're struggling without
they're
Umar.
struggling, and
they still have a winning record.
They need it. And they're almost at a point where they need to win almost everything. They're close to being out of the playoff.
So the Eastern Conference is really close in general,
right?
But so, game by game, because I don't really go game by game, but it's easier now with this new setup because I have 2 monitors. Boston's game, I thought maybe we could talk about something positive. It doesn't look like it. They got outshot 41-24. Hits for 18-14, but they were equal in penalty minutes. Overall, the Boston game, yeah, I just think you're probably tired going into it.
Boston's a good team. I mean, you're going to lose every now and then. The thing is with Todd McLellan, though, and what we're hoping for, this lousy February break that we have to take because of the Olympics, that's ridiculous, is that we do not have any prolonged losing streaks.
No. It's very
that is what we're hoping for coming out of the break, that we can continue to at least be a team that
you have the second toughest schedule going.
Wins 2 out of 3 every time.
You have the second toughest schedule going out for the rest of the year.
Don't we always the last 2 months of the season?
Ottawa has the toughest, which sucks for them being at the bottom of our division while we're at the top of the division. But when you look at it, it's very difficult right now to make any ground because everyone's playing so well. Tampa, you thought maybe without our streak you could shake them off. They're 11-0-1 in their past 12 games.
Yeah, I mean,
so there's nothing you can do.
No,
when someone wins 12 games in a row, you're trying to keep up with them. Luckily, you haven't let up. You've been playing pretty well. It's just it sucks because you can't make any ground on these guys when everybody's winning.
How many games are left? Do we know?
Well, I have to go into.
You got 82 games, and we're at 46 right now, or 40.
No,
50.
You're at 50.
So that's easy. So we got 32 games to go.
Around there, yeah.
I think in order to make the playoffs with 32 games, you're going to have to win at least 20 of those 32. So that means going 20-12. I think that's very reasonable.
So look at what you have left this week. You have 3 games coming up with you versus Toronto, Minnesota, and Winnipeg. The Western Conference isn't as hot right now. They're kind of spotty. There is a line. Winnipeg is at the bottom of the Western Conference this year.
What points are we at right at the moment?
64.
We're at 64. So if we win 20 more games, that's 40 points.
Put you at 104.
And that's a playoff.
It should be a playoff.
That's a playoff.
Should be.
That's a playoff.
You can't say that with how the East is.
Other up, that's a playoff. But you just cannot do what you've done the last 2 or 3 seasons. And totally collapse in March, and totally collapse all the way to the playoffs. So you have to keep playing decent. 20-12 over the last, 32 games is not asking a lot. I don't think 20-12.
We have 7 games left before the Olympic break. Most of these games could be without Lucas Raymond after getting the cheap shot on him last night too, which probably should have been more than an interference call. But this week you're going to Toronto on Wednesday, then you're going to Minnesota, then you're going to Winnipeg. You are on the road all this week. Again, Minnesota and Winnipeg should be winnable games. Toronto might be tough because you're in Toronto, but all three of the games this week are winnable. You can go 3-0 this week. Again, try to take 2 or 3. That should be your goal every week. If you're playing 3 games, try to take 2 or 3, maybe sneak a point out of your loss. That should be your goal.
And again, Elmer's, I had to point out that thing with Lucas Raymond. It was nice seeing Soderblom go after the guy in his own kind of way, and
tried to make it look more like an accident.
But he gave him a nice elbow in the face. It's nice to see us stick up for each other.
Tkachuk still tried to beat the shit out of him.
I think that's another Todd. I think that's another Todd McClellan thing with them, is that they're if Soderblom can, and I've noticed this slowly, very slowly, he's starting to use his big frame to be more physical. And he is starting to be the player I would hope he'd been. This guy could develop in a couple years to being a really good player.
Good. As long as he's being played.
But it's coming along slowly. He's just got to get used to this North American. You're 6'6", 6'7", whatever the guy is. And he's got to use that size.
He has to figure out his size. He has to learn how to use his size. Again,
the crap out. I'm not talking about fighting. I'm talking about standing up for yourself, throwing some decent, playing physical.
We had Tkachuk yesterday trying to beat the crap out of him.
And he stood up to him, which is all I want. I mean, he's not a fighter, but he can still be physical, and he can still, defend himself.
But remainder of the month and going into the All-Star break after this week, you have L.A., Washington, Colorado twice, which is not good. Not good at all. Because they've only lost.
That's what I'm saying. If we continue to play this well, we could afford to lose to Colorado twice. If that's what it takes, but not saying that they can't, because if you could split with Colorado, that'd
be great.
That'd be great.
The problem is Colorado has only lost like 4 games this year.
So you figure coming up, we got Toronto on Wednesday. We could win that game. Is that at home? No, it's at Toronto.
Next 3 are away. This week's all away. So you're at Minnesota.
Minnesota's a very good team. So I'm hoping out of those 3 games, if you
take 2 or 3.
Take 2 or 3.
And then you're going to need the next week.
You're
going to need to take 2 or 3.
Not all that great. Washington is okay.
Take 2 or 3 again.
Right.
And then.
Well, okay. If you look at that 5-game block before Colorado, if you go
4-1,
3-2, or 4-1, 3-2 would be great too. If you can go 3-2 going into that Colorado matchup and you split with Colorado, I'll be happy with that.
So if you could somehow split with Colorado, it's going to be a tough one. But if you could, that helps you with the last game against Utah before you go on your All-Star break. Not All-Star break, the Olympic break. For 3 weeks, you get the rest. You get to get healthy. Because Lucas Raymond might be out until after the break with a concussion. We don't know. I haven't heard.
He came back in the game.
Did he come back in the game?
Yeah, he came back. So
he should be fine. He should be fine then. He should be fine.
He came back.
Going into standings before we kind of finish everything off, it's so much nicer being able to read stuff, but also be able to make sure everything's working well. Going into standings right now, we are second in the second in the Atlantic Division, tied with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Third in the Eastern Conference, tied with Carolina in the Tampa Bay Lightning, all at 64 points. And you're currently 3 points up on Montreal, which is good. Everybody's on a win streak in your division besides Buffalo Sabres, who have lost 1, but in the past 10 games, they're 7-2-1. And then Ottawa, who's lost 2 in a row, they're 4-4-2. Your Metropolitan Division is where a lot of the losses have been happening. Though, again, there's still one team that's below 500 in the Metropolitan Division, that being the New York Rangers, 1 game under 500. It's a very, very tough Eastern Conference. They're at 48 points. You're at 64. You're kind of getting a little bit more leeway going on now with where we're at, because that's about almost 10 games. About 8 games. You're about 8-game difference between first and last place in the Eastern Conference. Western Conference, speaking of which, Toronto won our next game. They're currently sitting at 56 points. Another thing to mention when we're going through these standings, Detroit has 3 games on, three more games played than Tampa. So Tampa could win 3 games and be ahead of us.
Right.
Right. They still have 3 extra games to play. Though we've played the most back-to-back games so far, and that's why.
I am not worried at all about ending up in first place. I don't.
I mean, it'd be
care.
nice, but we don't need to.
Nice.
Home
But
ice isn't a big thing.
I don't even think it's a goal. I think our goal is to make the playoffs.
The one thing
the playoffs. Let's make the playoffs, and I don't give a crap who our first round opponent is. I don't care about any of this stuff. It's been 10 years. Let's make the freaking playoffs.
If I had to say one thing about the NHL when it comes to playoffs, home ice does not matter.
Matters nothing.
It's probably the one sport where having home advantage does not matter.
And it might even be a detriment. It might be even almost beneficial to go on the road.
I would say people could argue that, but I think hockey is where it matters the least between the sports.
The only one that it matters to is the owner because he makes more money. Because he gets more games.
Looking at our other opponents as we look at standings, because just why not? Colorado coming up at the moment, they only have 5 losses. Though they're on a losing streak. They've lost 2 in a row. 5 losses in regulation. It's very difficult to beat them in regulation or even in overtime. They have 8 overtime losses. But Minnesota currently sitting at 27-13-9, 63 points, 3rd place in the Central Division. And then our other opponent is Winnipeg coming up this week. They are 19-22-6 with 44 points.
I haven't been paying attention much, but why is Winnipeg falling
I don't know. I don't know how
they were a Stanley Cup contender.
Almost every single Canadian team out west is sitting at the bottom of the standings besides Edmonton. This might be a year there's no Canadian team in the playoffs.
Well, in the West. Montreal's doing great.
Montreal is doing great. I'm just saying there's a chance.
And Toronto, I can't see Toronto missing the playoffs.
Because if you just go slip over to the wild card standings right now, Montreal's obviously staying 3rd. Toronto is a point out from Buffalo. Buffalo currently holding on to the final wild card spot through their long win streak. Hopefully they can finally make the playoffs too.
If that's how it ends up, I would love it. If that's how it ends up,
Buffalo,
I would love it. We'd end up playing who?
Montreal.
End up playing Boston.
No, Montreal.
Oh, we'd have to play Montreal first. That'd be awesome. That'd be a great series.
Tampa would play either Buffalo or Boston.
I mean, if it ended up like that, I would be very happy.
It's probably not going to end up like that.
It's probably not going to. Florida, look at them. But they've been best decimated by injuries. So that's the only reason Florida. But again, what did Florida do? They always sneak in there, get healthy at just the right time, get that AC. Didn't they do that a few years back? And
That's the first time. No, they didn't win the cup. They lost the cup that year. That was the first year.
They lost the cup, but they made it to the cup, didn't they?
Yes. That's when they started figuring out the injury stuff. But
that is hockey. These guys sandbag, they sit back, and these teams get. All that matters is you're healthy at the playoffs. And if you can get healthy at the right time, and you could get on a streak, I mean, you go in there hot. That's hockey.
My favorite thing
favorite
thing to point out right now when it comes to standings before we're done, Vegas is winning their division with less wins than the wild card team.
Wow.
Reason why? They've lost 12 times in overtime. They have 24 wins. Edmonton has 25. Utah has 25. And San Jose has 24.
Crazy.
Same amount of wins. But San Jose has lost 20 times in regulation and only lost 3 times in overtime, compared to Vegas losing 11 times in regulation and 12 times in overtime. This is where I think if we had to do a rule change on points, it needs to happen. 3-2-1 should be the point system. 3 points for a win, 2 for an overtime, and 1 for a loss.
As long as everybody's playing by the same rule, what does it matter? Why not try it? Doesn't mean you have to.
It would even out the standings more. It would.
It would.
Because you get more points for a regulation win.
Right.
And then if you go to overtime, you only get 2 points.
For a win. Right. Oh, no. It doesn't. I think it's a great system. It would be great. It would be rewarding wins. So I like it. We'll we'll see. Like I said, it's just hockey's so much fun at this time.
Especially
But when
playing
they
well.
come back from but understand, everyone goes, well, the playoffs have to start. The playoffs just started when they get back from the Olympic break.
It's where you falter. If you can have a good month of March, you are going to be sitting nice. You need to do well in March. That's why we're saying you need to be in a good spot before we go into this Olympic break. Because if you do have a bad March or just an iffy March and you go 500 through March, you're at the top of the East. You should still somewhat be in the playoff hunt come April and be in a decent spot. Stat wise, again, before we leave, because why not? I'm there. Lucas Raymond is leading the team in points with 53. DeBrincat's leading the team in goals with 26, 38 assists for Lucas Raymond. Simon Evanson leads the team in penalty minutes, surprisingly, with 54. And Sider has the best plus minus at 10. Patrick Kane, where is he at? Let's see. He has 8 goals and 21 assists so far this year. Not doing bad, 29 points. We're not really expecting too much out of him. He's near the end of his career, but he's doing good. Just got his 500th goal. I think he's 3 points away from passing Madonna now.
And Patrick Kane is the type of guy that while we haven't needed him up to this point and lean on him, he's the type of guy who can get hot. He can get hot at the right time, but
he can help us.
He's toward the end of his career.
He's on 1 year deal. I expect him to come back next year, honestly.
I expect once Patrick Kane starts giving you less than 20 goals.
Oh, he probably will this year.
You're going to start to think, do we really need him back? To be honest with you, I felt better with that Leonard in the lineup than I did with Patrick Kane. But Patrick Kane still has the hands.
I think
that guy still can make those passes.
He make good plays. That's another guy who kind of came up so far this year. We'll kind of get more into it because we're kind of running out of time. This is a longer video than we usually do on the Red Wings. James Van Riemsdyk. He's come out of nowhere this year.
James Van Riemsdyk
as someone you did not expect to play well. 13 goals, 9 assists.
And you know what? Don't you feel like James Van Riemsdyk has like 30 goals, even though he only has 13?
The stat line here does not reflect how he has looked so far this year. He has a -9. He has 10 penalty minutes. He's only been averaging 12 minutes of ice time so far this year.
I think because most of those goals, if we can see what they are,
power play, 6 on the power play.
He has just been, and it feels like he's got twice that many. He's just been playing so well. I'm just talking about from eyeing it.
And somebody who's had a down year this year, sadly, Casper. Though a surprising stat.
I heard a strange rumor. Did you hear this rumor?
What?
That it's in the talk that Casper in a first round pick for Alex, I can't really say his last name, for the Rangers, Alex Lafreniere.
What is that, like a defenseman?
Are you kidding me? Alex the Great. They drafted him number 1 overall like about 5 or 6 years ago. The guy's a forward.
He's a forward?
Yeah.
I say get Panarin, to be honest.
Check him out and see how many goals that guy's got. If you can do it from the Rangers. I don't know if you can do it.
I can. You just got to give me a second.
We're the Rangers.
So I don't keep up.
I don't know. Maybe I'm over exaggerating because I really don't know the things. But Alex, there he is. He's got 10 goals and 18 assists.
-14, 17 minutes of ice time.
But the Rangers suck, so I don't look at that.
I'm looking at Panarin. I want to make a Chicago line again. Panarin, Kane, and DeBrincat. That's what I want to make.
Well, Panarin's also a guy said on the trading block. So
no, he's their point leader. He's their goal. He's not their goal leader, but he's up there.
That's horrible.
But 18 goals and 36 assists so far this year. You put him on a second line with DeBrincat and Kane.
Woo!
You just get a Chicago line going.
But you want to know who's doing fantastic this year? The best year he's had so far? Alex Copp.
Is that? Or Andrew Copp.
Andrew Copp. Copp has played extremely well on that line.
It's been difficult to be on. I feel like
I'd love to see John Leonard brought up if there's any way. Like, if that's going to be next year, but he's an older guy. But he played so well his stint he had with us. I thought he did really well.
Sad thing with Casper, he hasn't had as good of a year this year. Though, a fun stat that I heard yesterday on TV while watching the game, he leads the team in hits.
The thing is, if you trade Casper, that Alex Lafreniere, he's a really good scorer. He could become a really good goal scorer. He's only 24, and he still has like about 5 or 6 years left on his contract.
I say go for Panarin. go for. I don't know.
Panarin's like 35 years old, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's got 20 goals already this year.
Old. No. I wouldn't go for him unless
I want a
you're
Chicago line. Carry
Yeah,
us to the Stanley
it'd
Cup.
be good for a year or two.
But we'll leave it here. Hopefully we can have a good week. Go 2 for 3 this week. Go into the All-Star break good. You're above 500. You're first place in the Atlantic. There's nothing more we can ask for right now. So if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the Wings, how they've been playing, their chances. And until next time, we'll see everybody